It's one thing to blog about food, it's one thing to tell about food stories, it's one thing to cook at home, it's a completely different thing to run a restaurant. But when you ask yourself, why do I really want to start a business? Ask yourself, why do I want to do this? If the answer is that you want to make more money, it's not like I'm proud or whatever, but I know that if I want to get something done, I will get it done.
Hi my viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're watching for the first time, what you're about to receive here is something authentically beautiful. A lot of things to learn, a lot of things to be excited about. So you are in the very right place. I would like to remind you something. If you've not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. There's a button down there. Just click on it and get part of this wonderful fun. I've come with something different from the usual. If you've been following my channel, you've already seen the setup is kind of different. So today I've brought you a gorgeous, intelligent lady who has been bold enough to start up a business in this country, United Arab Emirates. So just get ready. You have a lot of things you're going to learn from this show. Sorry about if you hear a noise running. It's we shot near to a landing site for helicopters. So if you hear that sound, kindly bear with us. Okay, without taking any time, can you please allow me welcome this wonderful lady? You're most welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Can you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Yes, my name is Demi, and I am the founder of Catfish. And yeah, I love good food. I love all things health, fitness. Been in Dubai for 10 years now. Whoa. Moved here for school and just stayed back ever since.
That's very, very interesting. So you've talked about Catfish. What inspired you to start your business?
So I started Catfish because Catfish really is the way that I like to eat. It encompasses everything I love about African food. I'm Nigerian and it brings that flavor, but putting it in a way that is health first. Yes. So all our bowls are built around jollof, which obviously I love. We have lean meats like grilled chicken, salmon. We also have tons of veggies, and then we garnish with like some toppings as you like. So that is essentially what Catfish is all about. So think like pokey, but the African version. Yeah,
I can imagine that. If you can tell us, how was the whole process of starting up a business? Because we know it is not something easy to do. How was the process for you?
So it's very interesting. Catfish really started, I will say, a bit accidentally. So I was running a different business. I had a social media agency called Social Juice, and what we do is we create content for mainly food brands. And through doing that, I met my ex-business partner and he wanted us to run basically a program for his app. He was developing a food app and we just got talking about love for food. And it was like, should we do it? And I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. And then we did it. So yeah, the process in itself, I would say, was quite seamless. Of course, there were a few challenges in setting up because in the UAE, things sometimes are not as straightforward as they tend to be. We started quite small. We started in a shared kitchen space. So I think in terms of like startup, we were quite economical. It was a very lean startup. So I think that was really, really good.
Were there any challenges you faced while starting up your business and how did you overcome them?
I mean, I think personally, the one thing that might have been a challenge was the fact that I had zero experience in the food industry as in terms of running a restaurant, right? It's one thing to blog about food, it's one thing to tell about food stories, it's one thing to cook at home, it's a completely different thing to run a restaurant. But luckily for me, my partner was that was his background and my background is branding. So we had a really, really nice combination. So I think when you're starting out, I think it's really good to find people that complement your skills. And then funding wasn't so much of an issue. I had some money, I put it in, I got a loan from my mom as well. She put it in, he brought his money as well, and we made it work. Yeah.
Wonderful. Such a beautiful story to tell. After successfully setting up your business, I can imagine the joy. Can you please tell us a little bit about that moment?
You have your license. Tell me about it.
You know, the funny thing is that there was never a moment where I felt everything is done. I feel like, to be very honest, it's constantly things that need to be done.
Exactly.
But just having, I remember like getting the license, you know, having things put together and run, like there's these little joys that add to the overall experience of running a business. And yeah, that's really, really fulfilling.
Could you please highlight for us those wonderful moments you've had as an entrepreneur while running your business?
I mean, I feel like the first kind of like surreal moment I had, this is real, was the first launch that we had. I just posted on my Instagram and we were literally, the line was through the door. It was crazy, right? We had
yeah.
so many people come through and we were sold out and I was panicking, oh my God, they're not going to eat.
I didn't expect this. Yeah, I can get the feel. Yeah.
But it was really, really good. And, every time, so for a long time, I felt like my brand was what driving the brand, but the brand now has grown to its own self. And I have people randomly who don't even know who I am. And they're like, oh, I've had catfish. It was so good. And like listening to these conversations, like they make me really happy. Yeah.
I can get it. I can get it. So could you please tell us the reasons you could give someone to start up their business? Because like, in Dubai, for example, like in the UAE or at large, it's something like, to start up a business or something like simple, it takes boldness. Yeah. Like you had your own self to do it. So
what reasons could you give someone to encourage them start up their own business?
Yeah. I would say the first thing I have to say is that I think people kind of idolize entrepreneurship as this thing where you do and you have freedom and blah, blah, blah. Well, the point blank truth is that that's not the case. Yeah. Like you're going to work harder for yourself than you're going to work for anybody else. And that's a fact. If you're not ready to work, don't even stick to this paycheck, right? But I will say that there's no feeling like having an idea and seeing it come to fruition. Like it really is it's this kind of inner feeling, inner peace that you have, and you carry that kind of fulfillment around with you, and no one can ever take that from you, no matter how it goes. And I will say, in order to encourage people, I would say that you can make anything work. Like I feel like people are so scared of starting because they're so scared of failure. But what really is failure, right? You're going to fail anyway, right? If you don't do it, it's automatically a failure. And I think knowing or dealing with failure is an important thing to know, is that if things don't go a certain way, take that as a lesson and try again, right? Yeah. Things will never always go the same way that you want it at the first try. It's all about being resilient, like pushing, having faith in yourself, and knowing what your overall vision is. And I will say, when it comes to overall vision, sometimes when you ask yourself, why do I really want to start a business? Ask yourself, why do I want to do this? If the answer is that you want to make more money, there are other ways to make more money without starting a business. If the answer is that you want more freedom in your time, maybe there are other ways for you to find that, because for the first 2-3 years of entrepreneurship, you don't really have that time freedom. So really understand why it is that you do what you do before you make that big move. And once you're able to identify it, 100%, there's nothing that's going to stop you. You are the one that makes a difference.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazing.
What 2 things can you mention that have helped you achieve this much?
I think the first thing I would say it is about me is I have like an unshakable belief in myself, and I carry this around with me. It might sound proud, or like, it's not like I'm proud or whatever, but I know that if I want to get something done, I will get it done. Like it's not even it's not even a question of will I will know. I will find a way to get it done, and that has been true my entire career. I think the next thing is, I'm not afraid to ask for help, right? So if you really want to get things done, you have to become humble. Ask people who have gone before you. The one thing that I definitely have going for me is I have a lot of people around me who I see as mentors. I keep a lot of my friends are older people who have done what I want to do, right? So I like to learn from people who have been where I'm going. And of course, I have my friends who, maybe have not been where I'm going to, but as well. But when it comes to discussing things that can move my career forward, I'm very proactive about it. I really like to focus on surrounding myself with my mentors and learning from them as much as possible. And I think that's what makes a difference, because if you see someone has done it, it makes you feel like I can do it too, because they don't have 2 heads like Africans say. Yeah.
we are more like similar. Like if they did it, I can do it as well. Okay, that's really interesting. So another question is,
has the existence of COVID affected your business in any way, and how have you been able to overcome?
Yeah, of course, definitely. So I had a restaurant operation in Dubai, and we had a physical location in JLT built out, and we had to close that space. I had to close down that space and 4 of my restaurant brands, and I've only reopened Catfish now this is 8 weeks in. So we were closed for 8 months. And that was
8 months.
That was a huge, and I was like, I'm never doing this shit again. I'm done with this, I'm just going to chill. I'm going to relax. And what do you know? We're here. We're back again.
You found yourself back on the road.
Yeah, I found myself back on the road. And it's really, really funny, because I feel like things tend to work out as they are supposed to work. Because when we closed down, of course, one of the things that I did to kind of cope with the closure was I was just like, you know what, there's another step in the line. And when I'm dealing with things like that, I just throw myself into work. So I threw myself completely into building out a completely different program. And through building out that program and creating that product, I'm back here, right? Because a few of my investors went through that program, and now they wanted me to relaunch, right? So I feel like there's no form of hard work that you do that goes wasted. There's nothing. Like sometimes you were like, oh, why am I doing this? It doesn't make any sense now. You're so keen on
That
seeing the
moment
rewards
there
now.
when you feel like you want to stop.
100%. There is nothing that you work hard on that just goes. Like, it's just, you're either going to learn something, it's going to come back in for you in the future some way or the other. Like, working hard and being consistent and being very intentional about your goals is never wasted effort, ever.
So no hard work goes into the bin.
Nope.
Like, just keep doing.
Nope.
It gets something.
Yep, 100%.
Wow. Wow. I hope someone has learned that. It's really, really important to know. So, you've already told us how you've handled about the COVID, and really I've loved it. You kept working hard, and then with that you went into a program, and then you've been able to get back on your feet even after 8 months of closure. Wow, it takes really boldness to do that. Now,
and madness.
Yeah,
You must be a certain type of crazy.
to do something, to do great things. I mean, who is humble?
My sister sees me, she's like, this girl is not alright.
Are you still fun? Like, they have check on your temperature.
Not really. I'm not okay.
Besides COVID, any other challenges you faced as a business person?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like one of the biggest challenges is basically multitasking, right? Because when you have a small business, you find yourself having to do everything. And it gets to a certain stage where you realize that you're not the best at everything, right? You need to focus on what you're good at and hire people who are good at what they do to be best at what they do. So I think getting your product or business to a stage where you can then afford to hire people is very, very key. A lot of businesses fail because the entrepreneur or whatever wants to do everything, right? And right now, I'm in a stage where is someone going to be better at me at doing this? Let them do it. Is someone going to be better at me doing this? Let them do this. So delegating is so important. I think that's a big lesson, and I think it takes you to swallow your pride a bit as well. But it's the best thing for your business. No, it's the best thing for your business. Yeah.
Okay, that's really good. So how have you overcome those challenges?
I think, again, like listening to mentorship. So a lot of the times when you're in your business, right, or you're building a business, you're in your business, but what it takes for that business to grow is for you to take a step out and look at the business, right? Have someone with an objective opinion. So basically speaking to consultants, speaking to mentors, like taking a different point of view. Of course, everyone is going to have an opinion on your business, right? It's up to you to be quite discretional on who you take advice from.
And
Don't take
where you wanna go,
Don't take advice from someone who hasn't done what you want to do, right? So you need to be talking to people who know where you want to go and take advice from them. So that's the thing I will say is like speaking to people. I'm not scared to share my problems. I feel like a lot of the times people are so protective of their idea. They have an idea, right? You have a business idea. You're like, I have this idea. It's so good. And then they just keep it to themselves. 10 years later, they're still keeping it to themselves nothing has moved, right? Because they think someone is going to steal their wonderful idea. Honey, if someone took my idea right now and made it happen, I would actually go up to them and say, congratulations. Do you know why? Do you know how much work it takes to make something happen? I know that you cannot just take an idea and then it's going to just it takes work, it takes dedication.
So they did something definitely to make it
happen. And then maybe I can learn from them, right? It's all about learning. Of course, it's not that easy. You have to put your ego aside. And yes, there's some times where you might feel slighted, but you need to be humble. You need to be willing to speak to people. Everyone has something for you to learn. Everyone has something that they can teach you, right? So I think that would be the key thing. Yeah.
Have you got any family here?
Oh, yes. I have 6 siblings here.
Really? So how do you balance it up, like work and because you're really, really like you told me
everybody's doing what they do.
I actually know how you're doing it, girl. This is not something small. Seriously.
I live with my sister and my brother. And my 2 brothers also live quite close to us as well. So it's fine. Like I see them every day. So they're all working. My brother was in uni. We all went to school here, right? So after school we stayed back. And most of us stay back, and now we're just chilling. Because like you've had this one before, someone has asked you this question. Because like when you see someone who is being successful at what they're doing, we feel like maybe they don't even have time to go out maybe for a swim, or they don't have time for friends. Like I mean, how do you manage to have it all done? Like, I would say it's quite hard kind of balancing things, and I would not claim to be the best at this. There are moments where I'm like super focused on getting one thing done, and I tend to ignore everything else, but I do try to find my way back. I do try to be more conscious. I do try to make sure that I prioritize my health, fitness, dance, all of that stuff that I love to do. And I kind of do it for work, I kind of do it for play, so it's always there. And I think just finding a balance, right, being intentional about finding a balance is something that's very important, because at the end of the day, prioritizing